All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something that's uh, pretty essential for anyone working with Salesforce,
That's right.
and that's the Data Cloud. And specifically, we're going to be looking at what it takes to conquer the Data Cloud Consultant exam.
Yeah,
So for those of you listening who are really into the Salesforce ecosystem, this is going to be an episode you don't want to miss.
definitely.
We're going to be we've got some great materials here that we're looking at.
Right.
First off, we've got information about the exam itself, the
Hmm.
structure, how it's scored, how much it costs, those practical details.
Mm,
And then we're going to be jumping into some of the meat of it, which are some practice questions that are really illustrative of the core concepts of Data Cloud.
yeah, I think these questions are a great way to kind of see how the different pieces of Data Cloud fit together.
Exactly. And that's really our mission for this deep dive. Right? It's not just about passing the exam, although, if you're prepping for that, this is a great resource.
Yeah.
But it's really about extracting actionable knowledge and understanding those fundamental workings of Salesforce Data Cloud.
Absolutely. And the explanations that come with these practice questions are really where the gold is because they don't just give you the answer, they explain the why behind it, which is so crucial.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be covering a lot of ground here,
Right?
how Data Cloud helps you segment your audience, how it makes sure that data is accurate,
Mm-hmm.
how you can analyze it to gain really powerful insights.
Yeah, put it to work.
Put it to work. That's the key part.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
The first scenario we're going to tackle here is all about speed and accuracy when it comes to segmentation. Okay, so a consultant needs to find a way to make segmentation faster without sacrificing accuracy. What's the recommended approach?
Well, the answer here is to use segment filtering to reduce the volume of data being processed.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like you're narrowing down the scope, but why does that help with both speed and accuracy?
Yeah, it's all about being more focused and strategic with your data. Think about it. You've got a massive company, millions of customers. Trying to personalize every interaction for everyone all at once is just not feasible. So segment filtering allows you to really hone in on the specific groups that matter most for a particular campaign or initiative.
So it's like you're telling Data Cloud, hey, for this specific thing, these are the people I really care about right now.
Exactly.
Instead of just, like churning through this massive, ocean of data.
Right. And the more relevant your input data, the more precise and effective your output segments will be.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about speed. It's about actually improving the quality of your segments too.
Yeah,
Get rid of that noise.
exactly.
All right, so let's move on to question number 2 here. And this one dives into the specifics of actually activating your data. So the question is, when you're setting up Data Cloud to connect with other systems, which specific object defines that customer interaction data for activation?
So the answer here is the data activation object. And think of this as the launch pad for your customer data. It's specifically designed to house that information you've segmented, and now you want to do something with it.
Okay, so it's almost like that bridge, right, between understanding your customers and actually reaching them.
Exactly. Yeah. Whether that's powering a marketing campaign, personalizing website experience, triggering a customer service workflow.
So it sounds like understanding the different object types within Data Cloud is pretty crucial, especially when it comes to orchestration.
Absolutely. Yeah. Each object has a distinct role to play, and the data activation object is all about making that data a dynamic force within your business.
Okay, so moving on to question 3. This one tackles a really common issue, I think. Data consistency. You get data from different sources, and sometimes it doesn't quite match up.
Ah.
So let's set the scene here. A company's using Data Cloud, but they're noticing that some of their customer segments have conflicting information.
Mm-hmm.
And this seems to happen more often when customer profiles are incomplete.
Yeah.
What feature would you recommend to address this?
So the recommended feature here is identity resolution. And this is where Data Cloud really starts to shine because it tackles those data silos and creates a single unified view of each customer.
So it's almost like it's like a detective, right? It takes those little bits of information,
Yeah.
maybe a slightly different name, an old address, and figures out, hey, this is all the same person.
Exactly. It's piecing together those clues to create a complete picture.
Okay, that's pretty powerful. But beyond just having cleaner data, what kind of impact can this have on a business?
Well, a huge impact, actually, by resolving those inconsistencies and linking together all those fragmented pieces of information, you get a much more complete and accurate customer profile. And this leads to more reliable segmentation. but also more personalized and consistent customer experiences across all touch points.
Wow, okay. That makes a lot of sense. So you're not just fixing data, you're actually enabling a whole range of possibilities.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so question 4 takes us into the realm of deep analysis.
Okay.
So which tool within Data Cloud should a consultant recommend if a business wants to really dig deep into customer behaviors and interactions?
The tool for that is Data Explorer.
Data Explorer. Okay, so it's in the name. It's all about exploration.
Exactly.
But what does that actually mean? Like, what kind of things can you do with Data Explorer that you might not be able to do with other tools?
Well, with Data Explorer, you can go beyond those high-level reports and really investigate the details of how customers are interacting with your business. You can track their journeys across different web pages, app features, identify patterns of behavior, uncover insights that can inform everything from website optimization to personalized marketing.
So it's like you can see the actual paths they're taking, not just the starting point and ending point.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's really powerful. All right, moving on to question 5. This one is about permissions.
Okay.
Who gets to see what within Data Cloud?
Right.
So let's say we have a marketing manager who needs to analyze real-time customer engagement trends. They want to make sure that their segmentation is really responsive.
Right.
What specific permission set do they need within Data Cloud?
The permission they need is Data Cloud Engagement Specialist.
Data Cloud Engagement Specialist.
Okay.
So that specific permission unlocks the ability to work with that real-time data.
Exactly. And this highlights the importance of security and governance within Data Cloud. Not everyone needs access to all the data and all the functionality.
Right. It's about making sure the right people have the right tools to do their jobs effectively.
Exactly. It's a balance between empowerment and security.
Makes sense. All right. Question 6 throws a bit of a curveball.
Okay.
It's a really practical challenge, but sometimes the simplest solutions are the best.
Right.
So a company is struggling with inconsistent phone number formatting when they're importing data into Data Cloud. What's the recommended way to deal with that?
Well, the solution is to store phone numbers in a text field.
Wait, just as text?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that create problems later on if you need to use those numbers for, calling or texting?
That's a great point. You want to preserve the raw data. And then you can standardize it later within Data Cloud for specific uses.
Okay. So it's about capturing all the information first and then cleaning it up later rather than risking losing data at the very beginning.
Exactly.
That's really clever. All right. Question 7 gets to the heart of creating those personalized experiences that everyone's talking about.
Okay.
So what type of data is most commonly used for personalized experiences and effective segmentation in Data Cloud?
The answer is behavioral data.
Behavioral data. So not just who they are, but what they actually do.
Exactly. Website visits, clicks, purchases, all those digital breadcrumbs tell you so much about their interests and intentions.
Yeah, it's like, demographics tell you who they are, transactions tell you what they've bought, but behavior really gives you that insight into their journey.
Exactly. And that's the fuel that powers effective personalization and segmentation.
All right, question 8 is all about scale. How does Data Cloud handle those massive amounts of data that businesses are dealing with these days?
Right. So to enhance the scalability of data processing, a consultant should recommend using data graphs to connect multiple data sources.
Okay, so it's about creating those relationships between those different data points, right?
Exactly.
But how does that actually improve scalability?
Well, by creating a unified data layer, data graphs streamline the process of accessing and analyzing information.
So it's not about physically putting all the data in one place. It's about creating those connections so it can be accessed efficiently.
Exactly. It's like having a central map that guides the system directly to the insights you need.
Ah, I see. Okay, so you're removing those bottlenecks.
Yeah.
All right, question 9 ventures into the world of real-time data.
Okay.
A customer wants to create a segment of individuals who have visited their website in the last 12 hours. And they need this segment to be updated very quickly, almost instantly. What specific Data Cloud capability can do that?
That would be Data Cloud Streaming Insights. This is all about continuous processing of real-time data streams.
So it's like Data Cloud is constantly listening for these events, these website visits, these app interactions.
Yeah, and as that data comes in, the segments are updated accordingly.
Wow. Okay, so you could literally trigger a personalized email minutes after someone browses his specific product.
Exactly. It's about being responsive and relevant in the moment.
Okay, last question. This one takes us back to familiar ground for a lot of Salesforce users, reporting and analysis.
Okay.
So an analyst needs a quick way to visualize and analyze sales data for the last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What Salesforce tool would you recommend?
I'd recommend using Salesforce reports with data filters.
Good old Salesforce reports. So it's not always about learning brand new, super complex tools.
Right. It's about leveraging the familiar.
But now powered by that unified data from Data Cloud.
Exactly. The reports become much more powerful and insightful when they're drawing from a complete and accurate data set. Yeah, great questions.
That's your challenge, right?
Yeah,
That's the food for thought as you continue your own deep dive.
absolutely.
Until next time.